What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical average American here today to react and learn about Janteloven. This is something I've never heard before. I've never heard this word. I learned about it today, basically. Janteloven, or the law of Jante. This concept that exists in Norway, Denmark, Sweden, basically, and when I looked it up on Google to see what it meant, it told me Janteloven is a term that describes a set of norms which state one should never try to be more, try to be different, or consider oneself as more valuable than others. I thought this was fascinating. It reminds me of other cultures around the world I've heard kind of have this idea of conforming and making sure everyone in your culture is kind of like conforming together and strong as a group and not trying to one-up each other, not trying to be better than someone else or stick out, and that can be very helpful to a society. That's not at all how America seems to work. But I was fascinated with this idea, and I wanted to learn more because apparently this is some kind of cultural idea that exists in Scandinavia, basically. So I also found this video, Jante Law, the laws that really rule in Scandinavia, which I'm hoping will explain more about Janteloven to me and what exactly it means and who abides by it and why it's important and all that. So let's take a look. Oh, this is the story of the hidden rules that really underpin Scandinavian society. The hidden rules. So this is like a set of unspoken rules in Scandinavia that people try to live by, basically.
Janteloven is a set of rules that supposedly dictates how you should behave.
Wait. The 10 Commandments of Janteloven, or Jante Law, discourage individual superiority and ambition. Wow, there's really, like, it's written down like there's 10 official rules to this. I thought this was more of like a abstract concept or something. There's like 10 actual rules written down that you should know, or is this optional? Or I'm kind of joking, but I'm kind of not. I just don't understand how seriously this is taken, or if this is something Scandinavians all try to live by, basically. Because I do think these ideals are good. Like, I like what I'm hearing. The only thing is, they keep saying it discourages individual superiority, which is wonderful. And then it says discourages ambition. I don't know if that is a translation problem, but obviously you do not want to be discouraging personal achievement and ambition, because you want everyone to have ambition and to succeed and accomplish things. So I'm guessing this is a little more nuanced than what I'm seeing.
You're not to think you're anything special.
No.
You mustn't think you are good at anything.
You mustn't think you're anything special. That's funny because that's exactly the opposite of what's taught in America. In America, you are taught, no matter what, you are special, you are unique, you need to go out and make a name for yourself and be loud and proud, and so this is like the opposite of American culture, which I think is fascinating.
Thou shalt not think you are better than me.
You're not to think you can teach us anything.
Everyone knows what it is, and they know what they should do if they want to fit in. And they also know what will happen if they don't fit in.
So this is all to like help fit in together. I get that. And I also, they say, I'm not better than you. I think that's good. I like that. I don't think people should be out there saying like, oh, I'm so much better than you. Even if you are successful, even if you have accomplished a lot of things, you should not be trying to put other people down and be like, I'm better than you. So I think that's a wonderful thing to live by. It's just like a few of these things sound amazing, and a few things here sound like, I don't know about all this. So I don't quite know what to think about Janteloven yet.
It's a way of socially stigmatizing people that break the rules.
And maybe there is something in that that has created these incredibly successful societies.
Okay. Right, I could see how this, like creating conformity and working together and not sticking out, how that could help a society, like, progress. I understand. But it's also, there's societies like America that are built on just the best of the best, being the best of the best and pushing progress that way. Finland, Norway, Denmark. World Happiness Report. Norway, Iceland, Sweden. Democracy Index. Oh, this is their ranking. Okay. So Finland, Norway, and Denmark were the top 3 in happiness. Oh, is this an argument in favor of Janteloven, basically, the law of Jante? Because Norway, Iceland, Sweden, top 3 in the democracy index. So obviously this way of living, this culture, has produced very good results for Scandinavian countries. Iceland, Norway, Finland, gender gap index rankings 1, 2, and 3.
I'm pretty sure there is no Scandinavian utopia, but to the extent that there is one, I'm sure that Janteloven is a part of it, because what people often fail to realize is that you can't have it both ways. Complete individuality, where everyone just ignores the rules and still have a harmonious, equal society. It doesn't work that way, so you get to choose.
Oh, so this is all to accomplish, like, equality, everyone getting along and living harmoniously, therefore producing, like, the best society and results. The idea makes sense to me, actually, and obviously, based on the statistics, it has been successful. Almost every Scandinavian child grows up wary of breaking the Jante law. So Scandinavian children are told, make sure you do not stick out. Make sure you respect the law of Jante. Okay.
I've felt it a lot of times, and I think most people do.
The cosmopolitan Scandinavians love to say, Jante law, that's something for the people out in the provinces, but it exists in every city as well. And that affects the choice of cars that people buy, it affects how they dress, it affects how they behave.
Yeah, because if you do not want to stick out, you're like Americans. It's easy for me to just reference America for this topic, because America is built on sticking out and trying to be unique and breaking the mold. So everyone's dressing to express themselves and buying things to stick out. And that's like totally the opposite when you're trying to live by Janteloven, basically. CEOs socialize with their workforce. CEOs socialize with their workforce. Royals are down to earth. The rich live in modesty. Arrogance is frowned upon. Wow. So this is what happens when you live by the law of Jante. You get much more equality. You get people who have lived their lives thinking about this, and everyone is like on the same level, like CEOs and the workers. Royalty, I've always heard that. I've always heard Norwegian royalty is very down to earth, like normal people. So it basically makes everyone, no matter how successful you are, kind of on the same level socially. Like everyone can just be normal and equal, like, and respect each other. That's very good. Like that's obviously, like, I can't argue against that. That sounds great.
The British society has a class distinction where you can do a lot of things because you're rich or because you have a background. whilst Janteloven is trying to say, no, you can't, because we're a lot of people here, and we get to decide the rules, not you alone.
Yeah, huh. Yeah, well, the thing is, in, like, Britain and America, everything is based around being the best, so that you give yourself more opportunities, so you can be part of the elite upper class. That's the goal. So it's funny, whereas Norway and other Scandinavian countries have basically said, no, we're not going to play that game. No, we're not going to do that. I actually really respect that. This is very interesting for me to learn about. So where did Jante law come from? Okay.
Jante law started off as a work of fiction.
I think it's translated as a fugitive, thank you, a fugitive crosses his tracks.
As a satire on small-town Scandinavia in the 1930s. It was part of a novel by Axel Sandermoser.
What, this... wait. This whole Jante law started with a book? A book that was written by Axel Sandermoser? Really? That is very random to me. Okay, how did it then grow into like a cultural phenomenon?
This is Axel. This is my grandmother. And here is one of the mistresses.
Axel Sandermoser has written and illustrated a biography of her family. Okay.
He is my grandfather, and he was an author.
Oh, so her grandfather wrote the book. Wow. Well, this is amazing, because that book went on to be, like, sounds like one of the most influential things ever in Scandinavia.
He was drinking a lot. He was not very nice to his children and wives. And here is Axel when he heard the name Jante.
He called the town Jante, but it was based on Nykøbing. He thought about the mentality that he felt there was there and crystallized it in this concept of Janteloven. Anything you do that seems out of the ordinary or ambitious or not conforming would be sort of punished by the community looking down on that.
Oh, wow. This is very, like, man, I'd love to hear what Norwegians and other Scandinavians now in the modern day, what you think about this. Like, is this commonly practiced, commonly accepted, or are there some out there who are like, I want to stick out, I don't care about this? Like, that's what I'm curious about now, how influential this actually is.
Now, he meant it as a satire. Over time, over the decades, it's almost become like an informal Scandinavian Ten Commandments.
Huh.
The satire aspect has almost been forgotten, and people kind of think it is how they should behave.
Okay. I mean, it's like I said, a lot of it has good, like, meaning behind it, like positivity behind it. Some of it is just, like, so different to what I was taught that it's like, not having ambition. Like, that obviously seems detrimental. Not everyone likes that. And across Scandinavia, there is a shift away from Jante law. Okay, this is exactly what I was wondering about. If in Scandinavia, like, is this widely accepted? Is it resisted? What? So this is like a very, very, very kind of detailed cultural thing that I definitely don't understand.
I want to do my own stuff in my own way and not being like labeled as an outcast. You're not like any other girls. You're not like typical Norwegians. It's like, no, we're not.
Okay. Sassy009 are a Norwegian band who have spoken out against Jante law. Yeah, I could see as a band, like, the point of a band is to kind of stick out and, like, be different. So I get why they, in particular, are talking about this.
I think it can become sort of a prison because you don't encourage greatness.
How many people would want to belong to a vision like that?
Okay. In Norway, they even made a grave for Janteloven and declared it dead. Oh my god. Very symbolic. Okay. So is this the end for Scandinavia's 10 Commandments?
Janteloven is something that we're stuck with inside of us.
I think it's always there.
That kind of way of thought may well simply be so deeply embedded. Maybe it won't go away.
The interesting thing, I think, is that every society has those social stigmas.
The great thing about Janteloven is it forces you to think about what those unspoken rules might be that govern your life.
Yeah, I mean, certainly, even in America, like, there is social pressure to conform and to not stick out and to be normal. That certainly exists in America, but also most Americans would say sticking out and being yourself and being different is very cool. And that's who the coolest people are. That seems to be the people we look up to in America. So it's kind of both, I guess.
And so there's the first road to freedom and getting away from those rules.
What you should do is choose those that make the better society, and those Janteloven that we have, which is you shouldn't think you're better than everyone else, is probably the best way of organizing a society.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking is some of the Janteloven laws are good. Like saying, hey, I'm not better than you, and you're not better than me. And we can, like, be equals and work together, and that stuff all is great. But other stuff is more, like, questionable, maybe? Like, you can take some of the good laws and throw out the ones that are detrimental, but I guess. And maybe that's the American in me talking.
If you could click your fingers right now and Janteloven would all go away, would you do it?
No.
Wow, this was fascinating. Fascinating concept. This is very interesting. More intense than I even ever realized, too. This video was by BBC Ideas, and I liked it. This was really interesting. Let's look at some of the comments, actually. See if anybody wants to explain some of this. Maybe Norwegians in the comments here can explain. I think most people misunderstand the law of Jante. I can tell it's mostly about equality. It has nothing to do with ambitions, but everything to do with behavior. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, too. Humility isn't thinking less of yourself, it's thinking of yourself less. Oh, C.S. Lewis. Okay, that's applicable here. I think Janteloven is great, since you don't need to talk about your success and achievements, or trying to fit yourself in society's success criteria. You are allowed to go on your own path, creating your own success criteria, without comparison. You don't need anyone's confirmation. Okay. I like that, like not comparing everybody's success, but so basically you're free to go and be successful, but don't brag about it and compare everyone to you also. It's funny that people see Jante law as negative, when it's actually encouraging people to defy the rules and rise above them. But you learn that just because you are doing something different does not mean you are special, because you are not the only one to do things different. Okay. Janteloven is way better than the be loud and demanding style of interacting. Yeah. True. Feel like they're calling out Americans a little there. The best results are made by working as a team, cooperating with each other, not trying to compete each other out of the game. Remember, alone you are vulnerable. You might end up with nothing. We all depend on each other. Yeah, I can see where the law of Jante is good for, like, building a community, sort of way of living. And that's very nice, having like a tight-knit community. Danish here, I don't think you can find regular Scandinavians who can remember the 10 rules. But don't think you're better than anyone else we know and live by. Yeah, that seems to be the most important thing here. Of all the laws of Jante, the one everyone agrees on is don't think you're better than other people, basically. So I like that. I really like that. I think I understand a bit more. So people nowadays in Scandinavia don't take the 10 Jante laws exactly word for word and live by them or else. It's not like that. It's like, for the most part, just don't, everyone is the same. We're all humans. And don't think you're better than someone else, but still try to do your best and accomplish things. So that sounds great to me. And in that respect, I'm on board. I enjoy it. And I enjoyed learning about this. I'm sure there's a few things I got wrong and a few things I don't understand, but for what I do understand, I enjoy this, learning about this. Yeah, there's some good stuff here. Anyway, if you enjoyed this as well, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Norway, Norwegian culture, things about Norway I've never seen or learned before, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.